All right, let's dive right in. If you've ever stared at a huge data set and felt a little lost, you're in the right place. We're going to break down the absolute bedrock of the Pandas library, the series. Nail this, and trust me, the rest of your data science journey gets a whole lot smoother.
So here's the game plan. First up, we're going to figure out what a series even is. Then we'll get our hands dirty accessing and organizing our data. After that, we'll do a little math with our series, and finally, I'll show you some crucial shortcuts for taking a quick look at your data. By the end of this, you'll be handling single-column data like a total pro.
So, first things first. Before we can do all the cool analyses and find amazing insights, we have to understand the basic building block we're working with. Let's start from square one, making a series and checking out what it's made of.
So what is a Pandas series? Honestly, it's way simpler than it sounds. Just picture a single column in an Excel spreadsheet. That's pretty much it. It's a list of your data, but, and this is the important part, every single value gets its own special label, which we call an index. And that index, well, that's its superpower, as you're about to see. The best part? Making one is super easy. The recipe is always the same. First, you gotta import the Pandas library, and we give it the classic nickname PD. Then, you just make a regular old Python list with your numbers. And finally, you just hand that list over to pd.series. And that's it. You've officially created your first Pandas series. So what are we looking at here? On the right side, those are our numbers, the data we put in our list. And on the left, that's the default index that Pandas made for us automatically. See how it starts from 0, just like a Python list. And that D-type thing at the bottom, that's just Pandas telling us, hey, just so you know, these are all 64-bit integers. Okay, so we've built one. Now how do we, peek under the hood? How do we find out its vital stats? Well, that's where attributes come in. Think of them as the spec sheet for our data. Think of this slide as your series dashboard. Now, you don't have to memorize this whole thing, but just know it exists. If you ever need to see just the raw numbers without the index, you just type .values. Ever wonder exactly how many items are in there? Bam! Dot size gives you the answer instantly. These are your go-to tools for quickly getting the lay of the land. Great! So we've got our data locked inside a series. Now what? How do we pull specific pieces back out? This next part is all about grabbing exactly what you need using indexing and slicing. I absolutely love this analogy. When you have a massive data set with millions of rows, you almost never need to see the whole thing at once. Slicing is just cutting out that one perfect piece you're interested in. It's way more efficient. And here's where that index we talked about really becomes your best friend. You get two main ways to grab your data. You can use its position number, just like in a list, asking for the item at index 0 to get the first one. Or if you gave your data meaningful labels like A, B, C, you can use those labels directly. This flexibility is what makes Pandas so awesome. You can work whichever way makes the most sense for you and your data. Okay, everybody lean in for this one, because this is the number one thing that trips people up when they're starting out. When you slice using the numeric positions, the end number is not included. It's exclusive. But when you slice using your custom labels, the end label is included. This isn't just a weird quirk. It's a huge source of bugs if you forget it. Remember, numbers, end is out, labels, end is in. Knowing this will save you so many headaches, I promise. All right, so we can grab data by its position or its name. But what if we want to get a little fancier? What if we want to select data based on a condition, like, hey, show me all the values that are bigger than 50? Well, that's called filtering, and we're going to cover that right now, along with sorting. Filtering all starts with asking a simple true or false question. Here, we're asking our series, which of you are greater than 50? And Pandas answers by giving us back a brand new series that's just full of true and false values. This is what we call a Boolean mask, and it is the absolute key to filtering. And now for the magic trick. We take that Boolean mask, that list of trues and falses, and we stick it right inside the square brackets of our original series. So what happens? Well, it acts like a filter or a sieve. Only the values that lined up with a true in the mask get to pass through. It's such a clean and powerful way to select exactly the data you need. Sorting is just as easy. Most of the time, you're just going to use .sortValues, which, well, it does exactly what it says. Want it from largest to smallest? Just tell it ascending equals false. And for those rare times you need to sort by the index labels themselves, yep, there's a command for that too. .sortIndex. Simple as that. Okay, let's switch gears for a second and talk about math.
Because, a huge part of data analysis is doing calculations. Let's see how Pandas handles doing math when you've got two different series. This is a classic real-world problem. Imagine you've got sales data from two different stores, but they didn't sell all the exact same items. Their sales lists don't perfectly line up. What happens when you try to add them together?
Here's a perfect example. Look, both series have an index for A and B. Great. But S1 has C and S2 has D. They don't have a perfect match. This is where a concept called data alignment becomes super important.
Okay, and here's the really clever part. Pandas automatically tries to line up the data by its index before it does the math. So A gets added to A, B gets added to B. But what about C and D? Well, they don't have a partner in the other series. So Pandas returns NaN, which stands for not a number. Now, this is not an error. This is actually really important. It's Pandas basically raising its hand and saying, hey, just so you know, I was missing a value here.
But don't worry, there's an easy fix. Instead of using a simple plus sign, we can use the .add method. This lets us give it a fill value. We're basically telling Pandas, hey, anytime you see a missing value during this addition, just pretend it's a 0. And boom, the nans are gone, and our math works out exactly how we want it.
All right, last section. Let's talk about some super useful shortcuts. When you're dealing with a data set that has thousands or even millions of rows, you can't just print the whole thing, right? Your computer would not be happy. You need a quick way to inspect your data. And this is where head and tail become your absolute best friends. Instead of printing out thousands of lines and scrolling forever, head gives you a quick peek at the very beginning of your data, and tail shows you the very end. This is the pro move for getting a quick feel for any data set, no matter how big or small. And here's a quick little pro tip for you. If you just call head or tail without putting a number inside the parentheses, how many rows do you think it shows? Yep, 5. That's the default. And honestly, a lot of the time, it's all you need for a quick sanity check.
So let's just quickly recap. We've gone from creating a simple column of data to grabbing what we need, filtering it, sorting it, and even doing math with it. You've mastered the foundation. So the real question now is, with these skills under your belt, what amazing things are you going to uncover when you start combining these series into multi-column data frames and asking some really big questions? The fun is just getting started.